The House Republicans have voted for not the first time, not the 10th time, not the 20th time, not the 30th time either, but the 33rd time to repeal the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. 33 times. And of course, it's going to go absolutely nowhere because it's not going to get past the Senate. President Obama, certainly, if it did, would veto it anyway. Let's hear a little bit from our orange friend, John Boehner, about the vote, about Obamacare. And I do warn you, this is going to be, it's almost, you would think he would almost be tired of repeating these false talking points at this point, but he's not. He's still doing it. Let's take a listen.
Around Ohio last week, and you know, people kept asking the same question: where are the jobs?
Right.
That's why this week the House will vote to repeal Obamacare, which is driving up the cost of health care.
Okay, so there we, let's pause it right there. People were asking him in Ohio where the jobs are. Therefore, the logical extension from that is to vote for a 33rd time to repeal something which will actually create jobs in the long term and has nothing to do with why there aren't jobs in Ohio. Okay, step one, let's continue.
And making it harder for small businesses to create jobs. Meanwhile, the president is out there calling for a tax increase on American job creators. How raising taxes on small businessmen and women will help our economy, I can't quite figure out.
Okay, let's explain that, because that's a good point. This is interesting, ladies and gentlemen. John Boehner is one of 435 members of Congress elected by their constituents to represent you, represent the constituents on a number of issues, including social and economic, educational, etc. And he doesn't understand the economics of how rolling back or allowing certain tax cuts on high-income Americans would allow jobs to be created. Interesting. Oh, okay. Well, as we know, Louis, when you give a tax cut to the very richest people, it actually doesn't create any jobs because they don't really need that money, and nobody's ever made hiring decisions, at least not if they're intelligent, based on tax cuts, as we know.
Right, but won't the rich stimulate the economy and create more jobs themselves if they're getting a tax cut?
Personally, they'll take the extra money and they'll just give it to people. Even if they don't need to hire them, they'll just give poor people money. Is that what you're saying?
They'll open up a plant in Idaho.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So as we know, rich people will save that extra money. It makes absolutely no difference to them. They're already rich. But as we know, if you allow tax cuts to be given to people who actually need that money, they will spend that, in turn creating demand and actually allowing businesses to hire. John Boehner doesn't get that. Okay, let's hear a little bit more from him.
And frankly, I don't think the president can either. That's why later on this month the House will vote to stop the coming tax hike, to make sure that small business owners have some certainty about what the tax rates are going to be. And
okay, this is just garbage. The last thing is we have certainty, because under the plan Obama's proposing, and this is being missed by a lot of media outlets, everybody will continue to get a tax cut on the first $250,000 that they earn. So we're not taking away those rich people. They're not losing the tax cut on all of the money they earn. They're losing it on what's above and beyond the first $250,000 a year they earn, or depending on whose plan you follow, the first $1 million a year they earn. Everybody's getting the same tax cut for the first $250,000 per year that they earn, which of course is 90-something% of the economy.
Right.
A lot of people not understanding that. Let's put up the voting graph just to give you a comparison of what the House has been doing. They have voted on, during the 112th Congress, on repealing the health care bill 33 times, as you can see there. They have voted on, in the Senate, on the Jobs Act 1 time. The House has not voted at all on the Jobs Act. And the House has not voted at all on the Layoff Prevention Act. Interesting. If you're so concerned with jobs, what about voting on the Jobs Act and the Layoff Prevention Act to create jobs and prevent jobs from being lost, instead of voting 33 times to repeal something that is just never going to make it past the Senate? I don't know. Maybe I'm naive and stupid.
No, this is we're used to this, right? This has been going on for close to 4 years.